everyone, and welcome to Reading with Mrs. Adams. I'm Mrs. Adams, and today I'm out in my garden working in one of my flower beds, just doing a little weeding with my weeding tool. And I wanted to share my flower bed with you. Earlier this spring, I planted these zinnias. They're pink and purple, and they're just lovely. And they were just seedlings. They were small plants, only about 4 inches high when I planted them about 2 or 3 months ago. And behind them, I planted some hollyhock seeds. And the hollyhocks start out with these big green leaves, and eventually the plant will be about 4 feet high. But those were planted from seeds. And I planted both the zinnias and the hollyhocks because they attract butterflies and bees. And actually I won't ever have to plant them here again. I'll just have to keep the weeds out so they'll grow. They'll reseed themselves once they've been pollinated by the bees and the butterflies. But let's get started with our first story today, boys and girls. It's about planting a garden. And the best time to plant most gardens is in the springtime. And this story is called Planting a Rainbow. It's written and illustrated, beautifully illustrated by Lois Ehlert, and she uses a technique called collage, where she cuts out shapes and colored paper and puts it together, and she has other natural things that she uses also in her collage illustrations. But I think you're going to enjoy Planting a Rainbow, written and illustrated by Lois Ehlert. Planting a Rainbow by Lois Ehlert. Planting a Rainbow, written and illustrated by Lois Ehlert, Harcourt Brace Jovanovich Publishers. Dedicated to Shirley and Dick. Every year, Mom and I plant a rainbow. In the fall, we buy some bulbs and plant them in the ground. Orange tiger lily bulb, red tulip bulb, orange tulip bulb, yellow daffodil bulb, blue hyacinth bulb, purple crocus corm, purple bearded iris rhizome. We order seeds from catalogs and wait all winter long. Phlox, morning glory, zinnia, aster, cornflower, marigold, daisy. For spring to warm the soil and sprout the bulbs. Tulip, this is the red tulip, the orange tulip, the yellow daffodil, the blue hyacinth, the purple crocus, the tulip, the red tulip as it grows a little bigger, the orange tulip, you can see it's growing too, there it is, the yellow daffodil, the blue hyacinth, hasn't blossomed yet, but it's a sprout, and the purple crocus. Then it's time to go to the garden center to select some seedlings. Rose, poppy, delphinium, violet, pansy, carnation, and then this is a fern right here. So this is carnation over here, and this is a fern. We sow the seeds and set out the plants in soil. There's the rose, the violet, the delphinium, the poppy, and the fern. The carnation, the pansy. Here's the tiger lily, the daisy. These are the seeds right here, the daisy seeds, the phlox seed, the aster, marigold, zinnia, morning glory, cornflower. This is that iris rhizome. And watch the rainbow grow. Rose, violet, delphinium, poppy, fern, carnation, pansy, tiger lily, daisy, phlox, aster, marigold, zinnia, morning glory, cornflower, and iris. And grow, and grow. We have some red flowers, tulips, carnations, rose, and orange flowers, tulip, zinnia, tiger lily, poppy, and some yellow blooms, daisy, marigold, and these are all daffodils. We grow something green, ferns, and some blue flowers, morning glories, delphinium, hyacinth, and cornflowers. And some purple flowers too, crocus, phlox, iris, violets, asters, pansy. All summer long, we pick them and bring them home. And when summer is over, we know we can grow our rainbow again next year. And that is the end of Planting a Rainbow by Lois Ehlert. The first poem I have for you today, boys and girls, is called In the Heart of a Seed by Kate Brown. In the heart of a seed. In the heart of a seed, buried deep, so deep, a dear little plant lay fast asleep. Wake, said the sunshine, and creep to the light. Wake, said the voice of the raindrops bright. The little plant heard, and it rose to see what the wonderful outside world might be. By Kate Brown. The next book I'm reading is called From Seed to Plant by Gail Gibbons. Now this is informational text, all factual information, and you're going to learn a lot about how seeds are formed in plants and how they grow. I think you're going to enjoy From Seed to Plant by Gail Gibbons. From Seed to Plant by Gail Gibbons. From Seed to Plant by Gail Gibbons, Holiday House, New York. For Sue and Don Collins, special thanks to Bob Welsh of Shearer's Greenhouses, Bradford, Vermont. Most plants make seeds. A seed contains the beginning of a new plant. Tomato, squash, violet, tulip, daisy, rose, pea, buttercup, corn. Seeds are different shapes, sizes, and colors. All seeds grow into the same kind of plant that made them. Here's a sunflower, and that's where we get the sunflower seed. And when you plant a sunflower seed, you get a sunflower. This is an oak tree, and this is an acorn, which is the seed of the oak tree. You get acorns from oak trees, and when you plant an acorn, it grows into an oak tree eventually. Many plants grow flowers. Flowers are where most seeds begin. There's a zinnia, an apple tree, dandelion, aster. A flower is made up of many parts. This is the stem, and these little leaves at the base of the flower are called the sepals. These are petals. There's the word petal. In the center of the flower is the pistil. That's this little tube at the very middle part of the flower. The sticky part at the top of the pistil, that looks like a little, almost like a little star, is the stigma. And the parts of the flower around the pistil are the stamens. So these are stamens, all of this. And then stamens make yellow powder called pollen, little grains of pollen all on top of the stamens, sorry. And at the bottom of the pistil are tiny egg cells called ovules. So these little white dots are the egg cells. Before a seed can begin to grow, a grain of pollen from the stamen must land on the stigma at the top of the pistil of a flower like itself. This is called pollination. So here's the pistil, and this is the stamen, and this is the stigma, that's kind of star-shaped thing at the top of the pistil. And a grain of pollen from another flower just like this has to land on the top of the stigma in order for pollination to begin. So there's pollination, stigma, pollen, pistil, stamen. Pollination happens in different ways. Often wind blows pollen from flower to flower. Bees, other insects, and hummingbirds help pollinate too. While they visit flowers for their sweet juice called nectar, pollen rubs onto their bodies. So there's pollen that's attached to the bee. Oftentimes the pollen will attach itself to the back legs of the bee, and they call those pollen sacs actually. And you can see the pollen as the hummingbird is feeding, it attaches to the feathers on the underside of the belly. Then they carry the pollen to another flower where it comes off onto its pistil. So the bee went from this flower to this flower and can pollinate that flower, and the same the hummingbird. It has to get stuck to the pistil, the very top of the pistil, the pollen. Pretty cute. Hummingbirds hover as they feed. They don't usually land. Their wings flap so fast that they can hover like a helicopter. If a pollen grain from a flower lands on the pistil of the same kind of flower, it grows a long tube through the pistil into an ovule. This is the beginning of a seed. So you can see a pollen grain landed right there, and that grows a tiny tube that goes all the way down to the ovule. And that's the beginning of a seed. The seeds grow inside the flower, even as the flower begins to die. As the seeds become bigger, a fruit or pod grows around them. The fruit or pod protects the seeds. So this would be a pea pod, and inside the pea pod you can see the little bumps. Those are the seeds, and the pod protects those seeds. Just as the fruit, I'm not sure what kind of fruit this is, but it protects the seeds inside. Like the seeds inside of an apple, for example. When the fruit or pod ripens, it breaks open. The seeds are ready to become new plants. So, and if you leave the pea pods on the pea plant long enough, the pea pod will split and the seeds will fall out, and then you'll just have more pea plants. Some seeds fall to the ground around the base of the plant, where they will grow. Some pods or fruits open and the seeds pop out. Sometimes when birds eat berries, they drop the seeds. Other seeds fall into streams, ponds, rivers, or the ocean. There they travel on the water until they stick to the dirt along the shore. This is a coconut seed. You can see it got tossed up on the shore by the waves, and eventually it grows into another coconut tree. The wind scatters seeds. Some seeds have fluff on them that lets them float to the ground, like tiny parachutes. There's a seed that's got a little fluff and it floats to the ground, or this one. Others have wings that spin as they fall. That's a wings on the seeds right there. Animals help scatter seeds too. They hide acorns and nuts in the ground. Some seeds have hooks that stick to the fur of animals or people's clothes. Later they drop off onto the ground. So there's a squirrel hiding some nuts or acorns, and there's little seeds that got stuck to this person's pant leg. A flower bed or vegetable garden is beautiful. Seeds are planted to grow in the gardens. The seeds come in small envelopes or boxes. Directions explain how to plant the seeds and care for the plants. The beginning of a plant is curled up inside each seed. Food is stored inside the seed too. The seed has a seed coat on the outside to protect it. This is an enlarged picture of a bean seed. There's the word bean right there. And inside the seed is the beginning of a plant. It's a little baby plant. And the rest of the seed is food, and just the outside little shell is called the seed coat. A seed will not sprout until certain things happen. First, it must be on or in the soil. Then it needs rain to soak the seed and soften its seed coat. When the sun shines and warms the ground, the seed coat breaks open and the seed begins to grow. This is called germination. A root grows down into the soil. The root takes in water and minerals from the soil for food. So here's the seed, and you can see the seed coat has started to come off, which enables the sprout to grow up and the roots to grow down, and that process is called germination. Up grows a shoot. Green leaves grow up from the shoot toward the sun. So the shoot is this part, and when it's above the soil, it's called the stem usually. The roots get, the whole system gets much bigger as the plant gets larger, and these are the leaves. The first leaves that a little sprout will have are called seed leaves, and that's where the food is for the plant when it's just beginning to grow. The plant grows bigger and bigger. The leaves make food for the plant from the water and minerals in the soil, the sunlight and the air all around the plant. So that process of water, minerals, and sunlight and air creating food inside the leaves is called photosynthesis. Finally, the plant is full grown. Buds on the plant open into flowers where new seeds will grow. And this is a bud right there. And the whole process starts again because the flowers will get pollinated and then seeds will form and it starts all over again. Many of the foods people eat are seeds, fruits, and pods. They are full of nutrition, vitamins, and minerals, and they are tasty too. A From Seed to Plant project. How to raise bean plants. 1. Find a clean glass jar. Take a piece of black construction paper and roll it up. 2. Slide the paper into the jar. Fill the jar with water. 3. Wedge the bean seeds between the black paper and the glass. Put the jar in a warm place. Watching your bean seeds while they sprout. In number 4, in a few days, the seeds will begin to sprout. Watch the roots grow down. The shoots will grow up. Caring for your bean plants. 5. Put dirt into a big clay pot. 6. Carefully remove the small plants from the glass jar. Place them in the soil, covering them up to the base of their shoots. 7. Water them and watch them grow. Seeds and plants, seeds and plants. Scientists who study plants are called botanists. Some seeds sprout only in the heat of a forest fire. Some plants live for only one season. They are called annuals. Other plants die at the end of a season but grow back the following year. They are called perennials. Plants in the desert, such as cactus plants, store water in their stems. They can live for a long time without rain. Mountain plants are short, so the wind can't blow them over. Plants move. Many flowers open in the morning and shut at night. Some close when it rains. Also, plants move towards sunlight. Some plants eat insects. These plants live in soil that doesn't have enough minerals for food. This is a Venus flytrap. The biggest flower in the world grows on the island of Sumatra. It can weigh up to 25 pounds and can be 4 feet across. It's called a Rafflesia plant. And that is the end of From Seed to Plant by Gail Gibbons. The third book I'm reading today, boys and girls, is called Wiggly Workers. It's written by Diane Cheek and illustrated by Diane Daly. Now I have my friend Wiggly Worm here, and he's here to remind us that earthworms are very important to a garden. And he's really fun. I can untie him. He's about, 2.5 feet long. He's really cute. I love my Wiggly Worm. And I just tie him in a knot so I can let him sit in the palm of my hand like that. But Wiggly wants you all to know that when you find worms in your garden, don't kill them and don't be afraid of them. They've got a lot of work to do, and they're quite interesting actually, and we're going to learn all about it in this factual book, Wiggly Workers. Wiggly Workers, written by Diane Cheek, illustrated by Diane Daly. Wiggly Workers, written by Diane Cheek, illustrated by Diane Daly. To worm lovers and to the memory of Mary Applehoff, scientist, educator, and worm enthusiast. Worms live in darkness. They don't like the light. That is the reason they keep out of sight. Deep in the earth or inside a bin, that's where you'll find them as their story begins. Worms slither and slide and make not a sound, but no better workers can ever be found. Deep in the dirt, away from the light, worms are at work all day and all night. Without eyes to guide them, they still find their way to tunnel the earth while we work and we play. Why is this important, you might want to say? Worms are earth helpers. They encourage decay. They eat rotting matter. It's gross, I must say, yet to them it's delicious. They love it that way. Squirmy and moist, they tunnel along, leaving the soil air filtered and strong. If you have a worm bin, you know this is true. Our red wiggler friends make magic for you. Inside the bin, eating leftover stuff, worms munch on green garbage for breakfast and lunch. What happens next is something to know. Our red wiggler friends have something to show. Out of their bodies come nutrients grand, compost for us to give back to the land. Call it black gold, compost, or castings. All of them make plants happy and lasting. Plants love compost. For them, it's a treat. Their roots become strong so flowers can shine. It's just what they need every day, all the time. Hurrah for the worms, good friends to the earth. Come give a smile and giggle with mirth. Now that you know, please keep this in mind. The smallest of things are simply divine. The end. Or is it? This might be the beginning. Can you find some worms? Do you have a worm bin? Worms inside and out. Worms are invertebrates. They have no backbone. They have no bones at all. No eyes, no feet, no nose, no hands, no ears, no lungs, no bones. This is their head right here, and kind of a close-up of their mouth flap, which is right here. And if you peeled back their skin, you'd see the inside, you'd see their brain. They have 5 hearts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hearts. These are little bristles on the outside of their body. This is their digestive tract. The segments on the outside of their body, the clitellum, which is also called a saddle. This is their tail and their anus. Fun facts about worms. Red wigglers reach maturity in 10 weeks. There are more than 1,800 different kinds of worms. Worms eat almost half their body weight every day. A worm's body is made up of about 250 segments. Worms breathe through their skin. The lifespan of most worms is less than a year, but in a bin, red wigglers can live up to 4 years. Baby worms come from tiny worm eggs, also called cocoons. And that is the end of Wiggly Workers, written by Diane Cheek and illustrated by Diane Daly. The second poem I have for you today, boys and girls, is called Tommy. It's written by Gwendolyn Brooks, and it's about a little boy who plants a seed and watches it grow. Tommy. I put a seed into the ground and said, I'll watch it grow. I watered it and cared for it as well as I could know. One day I walked in my backyard and oh, what did I see? My seed had popped itself right out without consulting me. By Gwendolyn Brooks. The fourth and final story I have for you today, boys and girls, is called Sunflower House. This is written with lovely rhymed text by Eve Bunting, and it's beautifully illustrated with lifelike pictures by Catherine Hewitt. I think you're going to enjoy Sunflower House. Sunflower House by Eve Bunting, illustrated by Catherine Hewitt. Sunflower House by Eve Bunting, illustrated by Catherine Hewitt. Voyage Books, Harcourt, Brace and Company. To Anna Eve, we will have tea in your sunflower house, E.B. For John, Cody, and Annalise, who blossomed together at First Press in Santa Monica, K.H. First I pull out all the weeds, then I sow my sunflower seeds. It says to set them in a line, but Dad says round and round is fine. I give them water every day and shoo the pesky birds away. Go eat the berries on the tree. These sunflower seeds belong to me. The package says they're guaranteed. A mammoth flower grows from each seed. My friend Bernice says, there's no way. You don't know everything, I say. Wait. The stems poke up, all ringed around a pale green circle in the ground. They're growing tall, they're growing fast. And oh my gosh, sunflowers at last. All frilly yellow, big and bright. Mammoth is the word, all right. Their petals open wide and spread, a golden roof above my head. My friends come rushing down to see the sunflower house, hand-grown by me. There's lots of room inside for 3. Mom brings us cookies and iced tea. But Mom and Dad can't fit it all. They're much too big and wide and tall. All summer long the house is ours. We play in it for hours and hours. It's a castle, it's a cage. We're jungle beasts that roar and rage. My friends sleep out with me one night, bundled up and snuggled tight. Moon shadows shiver on the ground. The sunflowers whisper all around. They whisper songs of heat and rain and things too secret to explain. I see the stars play peekaboo and wish a wish that can't come true. One day the leaves are tinged with brown. A flower comes tumbling, rumbling down. Next day some more bend over, fall, and now it's not a house at all. We tie it up with string and sticks, but it's impossible to fix. It's gone. There's nothing we can do, not even with the glues-all glue. Wait! There's still the puffy middle part that's filled with seeds, enough to start another sunflower house next spring, with walls, a roof, and everything. It's neat to think when something's gone, a part of it goes on and on. It's such a super duper plan. We pick out all the seeds we can. Our pockets bulge, the blue jays come, the sparrows, crows, they all take some. We still have lots and lots to share. Now be aware, prepare, take care. Next summer they'll be everywhere. And that is the end of Sunflower House by Eve Bunting, illustrated by Catherine Hewitt. Thank you so much for joining me today, boys and girls, in my garden, and I hope you enjoyed all the stories and poems about seeds and plants and how they grow, and the importance of those wiggly workers. If you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, you can do so. Just tap the word subscribe right there, and that way you'll be sure to get all the latest videos with stories and poems from Reading with Mrs. Adams. One truth I want you always to remember, and that is that God loves you so much. So dare to dream the impossible, because all things are possible with God. I love you. Until next time, goodbye.